Let's just say the ratings aren't the same with Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever now eliminated. Game 1 of the Aces Liberty matchup on Sunday drew an average of 929,000 viewers. Was down nearly 50% from last Sunday's Fever Sun contest. By the way, not only was viewership down, but attendance was as well.
The recent statistics from the semifinals have been released, and it is not looking good for the WNBA since Caitlin Clark's exit via BS fouls going against her. The players are crying because they think that fans are against them because they did not stay to watch their playoff games. Since Caitlin Clark's elimination, the WNBA has already seen a decline in viewership, and as the playoffs progress, things will only get worse.
Do you want me to just say I told you so, or are you willing to say, Stephen A., you did tell us? Really? Caitlin Clark is the golden goose.
What sort of sport allows its finest player to be treated so poorly? Don't let the Fevers play at home during the playoffs all season long, then watch their sport deteriorate and lose fans with each game. Only in the NBA do teams make it to the championship game, and after each game, fewer spectators show up. Currently traveling to Europe, Caitlin is ostensibly taking a break, but she might be persuaded to join the EuroLeague in exchange for a sizable salary.
Could be a team overseas who would love to snatch Caitlin Clark away from us and give her a crazy offer. I mean, Ice Cube was about to give her $5 million to play in less than 10 games in the Big Three.
Who could blame Caitlin? If she made a move, she would receive 10 times her current salary and be treated fairly. The WNBA would even deny her the chance to win unanimous Rookie of the Year. One voter must now be made public after inadvertently casting their ballot for Angel Reese.
Should have been unanimous.
Should have been.
I
agree.
It should have been unanimous. And one of the things that sticks with me is, well, she was the first rookie to get a triple-double.
The WNBA is finally witnessing the Caitlin Clark effect in full swing, as ratings are dropping by the minute. Players think that fans only want to see Caitlin Clark, and they would be correct. A.A. Wilson was upset that fans thought her game was boring this year. In fact, it's the most times I've ever heard someone say that about my game. I'm like, okay, cool whatever, but AA is obviously unhappy with the decline in viewers, even after winning MVP. AA hasn't had nearly the same impact on the WNBA as Caitlin Clark.
Asia Wilson, 28 years old, 1,000 points in the regular season. Why is that not the biggest story out at the moment?
Exactly.
Why are we talking about Caitlin Clark?
Why exactly? Why when Asia was releasing a shoe were we talking about Caitlin?
The impact of Caitlin Clark's withdrawal from the WNBA playoffs goes far beyond the league's raw viewership figures. It highlights a more serious problem with the audience's brittleness and how heavily it had become dependent on one player to maintain its newly discovered momentum. When the Indiana Fever lost to the Connecticut Sun and Caitlin Clark's rookie season ended, there was an immediate and startling drop in viewership, but more than that, it brought to light an uncomfortable reality about the WNBA. Without its biggest star, the league struggles to keep people watching. Caitlin Clark was the spark that brought attention to both her team and the league as a whole.
For the 2023 season, the WNBA had grown by 40% viewership from 2022 to 2023. But with Caitlin Clark's arrival, it's grown by 400% viewership. What that means is if the WNBA were continue to grow at the rate it grew from 22 to 23, it would take until 2028 to do what Caitlin Clark did this year.
Following Clark's elimination from the playoffs, viewership fell by more than half, indicating that a significant percentage of the league's audience was being drawn in by her presence. This cannot be disregarded or written off as an anomaly. The WNBA has mainly depended on Caitlin Clark's celebrity to attract fans, and the league has been blamed for its failure to hold onto that following in her absence.
Ever since, Angel Reese had that injury to me, and also coming off of Olympic break, Caitlin Clark separated herself. Yeah. She should have been unanimous. Now to celebrate her, one thing that people forget is as a rookie, she was the most blitzed player in the WNBA, and she still put up 19, 5, and 8 assists.
This dramatic drop in viewership is a wake-up call for the WNBA, which has suffered from low attendance and ratings for years. However, Caitlin Clark's breakthrough season appeared to give the league hope as her games routinely drew record attendance, and for a brief period, it seemed like the WNBA had finally turned a corner. However, now that Clark is no longer with the league, it is evident that the league's newfound popularity was not as stable as it appeared without Caitlin Clark in the playoffs. The WNBA has struggled to maintain the level of excitement. When Clark was gone, ardent followers who had been following her every move had little incentive to stay. The general buzz around the playoffs has significantly decreased as a result of the surviving team's lack of the star power and charisma that Clark brought to the court, even though they are still competitive.
There was a Jordan effect on the NBA and the game of basketball. I would argue at one point early on there was a Steph Curry effect on the NBA and on basketball also. You bet your ass there is a Caitlin Clark effect on all of basketball, and especially on women's basketball.
One of the most concerning things about Caitlin Clark's playoff exit was how it occurred throughout the season. Despite the WNBA's admiration for Clark's skills, the league failed to provide her with the protection a player of her caliber deserves, and Clark was frequently fouled and subjected to physical play that went mostly unpunished. This wasn't just a few missed calls. Rather, it was a pattern of rough play that eventually affected Clark's body and caused her team to lose.
We don't want fans that are going to degrade us and call us names. I mean, we already see what's happening in the world. Something needs to be done, whether it's, them checking their fans or this league checking.
Fans watching at home couldn't help but feel irritated as Clark was knocked around the court with little assistance from the officials during the series against the Connecticut Sun. For example, Clark was fouled hard several times during the series, but the referees seemed hesitant to call the foul. It seemed as though the league didn't fully understand how important it was to protect its star player. The WNBA has long struggled with officiating, especially when it comes to physical play, but when the player at the heart of your league's comeback is being treated this way, it becomes a much bigger problem. The WNBA cannot afford to let its biggest star be beaten down like this, especially when she is so important to the league's success. This failure to protect Clark is not just a one-off mistake, it's part of a larger problem within the WNBA.
Racism has been impacting the WNBA well before this year. This is not a new thing. Sure. This is, in that way, I do think Caitlin's being used as a pawn. Caitlin didn't bring racism to the WNBA. This has been happening, and that I think is what's been such a shock for all of us.
Not only was Caitlin Clark's breakthrough season a personal victory, but it was also a huge chance for the WNBA to show off its potential to a larger audience. Her games were attracting fans from across the nation, many of whom had never attended a WNBA game before. This was an opportunity for the league to take advantage of the excitement surrounding Clark and create a loyal following, but the WNBA wasted that chance by not protecting her. Fans are aware of what happened, they witnessed how Clark was treated on the court, and many of them have expressed their frustration. Fans who believe that the WNBA let Clark down by permitting her to be fouled repeatedly without adequate officiating have begun posting comments on social media.
There are very, very few people, but there are some out there who resent the fact that this young white girl came out there and did her thing. Rookie of the year, 4th in the league for MVP voting, assist leader, one of the top leading scorers after the Olympic Games. She put on a show, validating all the attention she was receiving.
Due to this, there is a growing belief that the league is not doing enough to safeguard its stars, which may have long-term effects on fan loyalty. The WNBA is currently in a vulnerable situation. Caitlin Clark has already contributed more to the league in a single season than many players do in a whole career, but the league runs the risk of losing the very players who are advancing the sport if it does nothing to safeguard her and other players like her. This is about the league's future, not just about winning games.
Number of viewers for WNBA games that Caitlin Clark is not in is like 3 to 4 million. When she's in the game, when it's her game playing, it's like 17 million.
Yeah. Well, I also look at the attendance in the arena.
Yes.
It's 8 to 10,000 everywhere else. Caitlin Clark, 17, 18,000.
As if fans weren't enough angry by Caitlin Clark's elimination from the playoffs, despite her record-breaking season and her indisputable impact on the development of the WNBA, another controversy quickly followed. Given the influence Clark had on the court and in terms of viewing, it was unexpected that she did not receive unanimous Rookie of the Year recognition. Despite Clark's outstanding efforts throughout the season, one voter chose to vote for a different player instead. Reese Angel.
No matter if you are rooting against Caitlin Clark because you like another team, there's very few of them.
I'm excited
even if it's that.
I'm excited to see who it is.
Many fans were incensed by this choice. How could anyone vote for anyone else but Caitlin Clark, who had single-handedly raised the WNBA's prominence and served as the catalyst for the league's surge in popularity? To make matters worse, It felt like a slap in the face to Clark and her supporters that she didn't win unanimous Rookie of the Year. The WNBA has chosen to keep the identity of the single voter who voted for Reese over Clark anonymous. Fans' discontent has only increased as a result of this lack of openness, as many believe that Clark is not receiving the credit she merits from the league.
That second half really set the tone for me, for her to be, and should have been, the unanimous Rookie of the Year.
And it wasn't just one triple-double. She had 2 on the season.
And this is why we would love for the WNBA to make voting not anonymous. Because if you were the person that had that one vote, you should just be able to stand on it, and we should know who you...
More than just a one-time incident, Caitlin Clark's exclusion from the unanimous Rookie of the Year award might have a long-term impact on how WNBA fans view the league. Many fans believe that the WNBA is not fully appreciating what Clark has done for the league, and the decision to give one vote to Angel Reese instead of Clark has sparked a debate about the voting process's integrity. Clark had done everything in her power to improve the league, but when it came time to recognize her accomplishments, she was denied the unanimous recognition she deserved.
Who's the best player in the country?
To the media or me?
As you see it.
I feel like I'm the best player in the country.
Caitlin Clark, the Rookie of the Year, has already demonstrated that she can dominate the league on the court, so this slight will only serve to fuel her fire for her future seasons. However, for the WNBA, this controversy has created a problem that won't be easily fixed. Who do you think is the best player in the country, the media or me? I think I'm the best player in the country.
My question is, who did it? Speak loud and clear, raise your hand, all that good stuff.
The WNBA is facing one of its biggest challenges yet as Caitlin Clark takes a 200-day break from professional basketball. The league will have to figure out how to keep fans interested during this time, even though other basketball games will still be played. This is no easy task, especially given how much the league's viewership has already declined since Clark's playoff exit. However, the truth is that the WNBA will face an uphill battle without Clark because she was the league's biggest draw, and her absence leaves a void that will be hard to fill.
Basketball has really consumed my life for a year, so I feel like it'll be good for me to kind of reflect back on everything that's happened.
If the WNBA wants to keep Caitlin Clark in the long run, it needs to take quick action to protect her on the court. The physical abuse that Clark sustained during the 2024 season is unsustainable, and if the league doesn't take action now, it could lose her to other opportunities like the EuroLeague, where players are frequently paid more and receive better care. In recent years, the EuroLeague has grown in popularity among elite basketball players, offering higher salaries and better treatment overall. If Caitlin Clark were to look for opportunities abroad, it would be a terrible blow to the WNBA, which cannot afford to lose a player of her caliber, especially after she has done so much to raise its profile.
A rising tide lifts all boats. If folks were more receptive to it, more moments would have arrived. I still contend Caitlin Clark should have been on Team USA. Imagine the international, the global audience that would have followed her. But folks missed it because of feelings, not business.
The WNBA must put Clark's safety and well-being first in order to stop this from happening. This entails making sure that referees are calling fouls when they occur, shielding her from overly aggressive defenses, and ensuring that she doesn't endure the same rough play that caused her to be eliminated from the playoffs. It is impossible to overestimate Caitlin Clark's influence on the WNBA. She has drawn in new fans, raised viewership, and given the league a level of attention it hasn't had in years. However, her absence has also highlighted the league's weaknesses, notably its reliance on a single player to keep fans interested.
Somebody thinks Angel Reese was the Rookie of the Year? Fine. Maybe it's a writer who covered her team in Chicago. Okay. It's not the end of the world. Like, I don't know if Caitlin Clark's going to go, can you believe I didn't go unanimous? Now, I thought we would have unanimous MVP and unanimous Rookie of the Year.
The WNBA's next few months will be crucial as it navigates the post-Clark era. The league needs to move swiftly to address the issues raised by her absence or risk losing the momentum it has worked so hard to build going forward. The WNBA must put protecting its stars, expanding its talent pool, and making sure that its audience stays interested even when its biggest star is off the court first. If the league wants to keep growing and drawing in new fans, it must acknowledge the value that Clark brings and do everything in its power to keep her in the fold. If they continue to ignore the bias against Caitlin, the WNBA runs the risk of losing the star who made it relevant, along with the fans who joined her. Additionally, Subscribe to see more videos immediately.